Was Enoch the original Bible? Unpacking its true antiquity. Introduction 130. Imagine stumbling upon a book so old, so influential, that it literally rewrites the spiritual history you thought you knew. This is a text revered by some early Christians, quoted directly in the New Testament, yet it's been mysteriously banned from most Bibles for nearly 2,000 years. The book is the Book of Enoch, specifically Enoch, attributed to the biblical patriarch who walked with God, and was taken without seeing death. For centuries, it was an enigma, but does its intense popularity mean it was the original Bible? We're diving deep to answer that question. We'll look at the incredible discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls that validated its true age, clarify its historical status in Second Temple Judaism, and uncover the precise theological reasons this powerful text was ultimately excluded from the Jewish and Christian canons. The Dead Sea Scrolls validation. For hundreds of years, the few copies of the Book of Enoch that existed were found only in the ancient Ethiopic language. As a result, many scholars dismissed it as a medieval text or a Christian forgery, arguing it couldn't be genuinely ancient. That consensus changed forever in the late 1940s with the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Qumran caves. Among the scrolls, dating from 250 BCE to 68 CE, scholars found at least 20 Aramaic manuscripts of Enoch. This was a monumental moment. The presence of so many different copies, written in Aramaic, the language spoken by many Jews at the time of Christ, served as the ultimate historical validation. It proved, definitively, that the Book of Enoch was not a forgery, but a genuinely ancient Jewish document that predated Jesus and the New Testament by centuries. The dating, from the 3rd century BCE, is crucial. It means the rich, detailed Enochian traditions about the fallen Watchers, their giant offspring the Nephilim, and the origin of evil were not a marginal fringe belief. Instead, these ideas were mainstream elements of Jewish thought during the pivotal Second Temple period, setting the stage for the religious world the apostles inhabited, answering the original Bible claim. So, if Enoch is so old and so beloved, was it the original Bible? The straightforward answer from history and scholarship is no. The term Bible for the Jewish people is the Tanakh, the Hebrew scriptures, which contains the Torah, the prophets, and the writings. While the Qumran community who stored the Dead Sea Scrolls certainly loved Enoch, they had more copies of it than any other non-biblical text. The scrolls themselves show a clear distinction between these popular texts and the authoritative books of the Torah or the prophets. It was revered, but it was not the sacred law. This brings up a fascinating point. Why does the New Testament book of Jude quote Enoch almost verbatim? In verses 14 and 15, Jude writes, "Enoch the seventh from Adam prophesied about them. See, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone." This quotation validates Enoch's authority not as canon, but as a prophetic tradition. New Testament writers, especially those writing about the end times, often utilized Enochian ideas because they were the common apocalyptic vocabulary of the day. Enoch provided the established lore and backstory for concepts like fallen angels, the abyss, and the cosmic judgment that would later inform parts of both the New Testament and Rabbinic Judaism. Why it was excluded, the question of canon. If Enoch was this popular and quoted in the New Testament, why isn't it in most Bibles today? The answer lies in the stringent process of canonization that took place in the centuries following the destruction of the Second Temple. For Rabbinic Judaism, which codified the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, a few criteria disqualified Enoch. Language and antiquity. A book generally had to be written in Hebrew and before the time of Ezra. Enoch was written mainly in Aramaic and was a much later compilation, pseudepigrapha. The text is a prime example of pseudepigrapha, writing attributed to a figure from the distant past, Enoch, to lend it authority. Since the ancient patriarch Enoch didn't actually write it, it was seen as lacking genuine divine inspiration. For the Christian Church, the criteria were slightly different, but the result was the same. While some early church fathers initially approved of it, later councils prioritized books written by an apostle or a direct associate. The Book of Enoch was eventually relegated because it contained too many speculative, fantastical elements, like bizarre calendars and wildly oversized giants, and was ultimately deemed an interesting but non-authoritative text. Despite its exclusion from nearly every Western religious tradition, the story of Enoch has one final, fascinating chapter. The Book of Enoch was preserved because it was held in high esteem by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. It was lost to the Western world for over 1,500 years, surviving only in the ancient Ethiopic language, Ge'ez. Today, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church is the only major Christian body that still includes Barthorn Enoch in its official Bible. For this ancient church, the text never needed to be rediscovered or validated by the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was simply always scripture. The Ge'ez translation is in fact the only place where the entire Book of Enoch has been preserved, making it an invaluable resource for scholars worldwide. The Dead Sea Scrolls confirm that the Book of Enoch is not a forgery. It is an authentic, ancient, and highly influential Jewish text that fundamentally shaped the world into which both Christianity and modern Judaism were born. It wasn't the original Bible, but its validation gives us a vital key to understanding the beliefs, fears, and hopes of the people who wrote the New Testament and compiled the Old. What part of the Enoch story surprised you the most? Did the Dead Sea Scrolls make you want to read it? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into ancient history.